Shalom, shalom. Hey, you can put it more over there, bro. I don't want to be looking up and
That's it.
down. You know what I mean? If you could bring it up a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right there. Got
All right, shalom, shalom. You know, we're going to start a lesson, get right into it. GMS, OK-LA-Homa. You know, we're doing it indoors. It's pretty windy out there and rainy. So we're going to be constantly dealing with the suns and so yeah, hopefully it's edifying. We'll get right into it. Gonna give all praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. Barak, Yahawah, Barak, Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostle, elder bishops, great millstone, my salutation. Brothers teaching word for the hopeful elect, soon to be elect, most I will. Extended hopeful elect, shalom all across the planet. You know, sincerely returning back to the most high blessings. You know, in righteousness, we're gonna rule. That's what we're gonna call this. And you know how the elites get down and what they do. The evil and wickedness of the elite and the elite system that they set up for the New World Order to come against basically the saints of the Most High, which is prophets, is prophesying the downfall of this place. The prophets of doom, they're called. You know, brothers on the coming board, Shalom, GMS Virgin Islands, Shalom, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash, Barak. And we're just gonna get right into it. The meek shall inherit the earth. We can get that first. You know, because these devils are, they it's prophesied of them to do, Apocrypha, enemy should come, and the enemy should come in like a flood. We'll get that scripture. Talking more on policies, strict policies. We told you they're coming with draconian laws, starting with the apostles and down. And, dragon, speaking like a dragon, This is the very last leg of the Roman Empire. Apostles, elders have proven that time and time. And the one thing I want to address too that he's a nobody, but Joe Brown, he's a popular judge when they came out with all that judge shows with like Greg Mathis show, and he said, the Israelites were just, somebody asked him, what do you think about the black Hebrew Israelites? And he said, well, they're just trying to find something to identify with, trying to be a part of something to identify because they don't have no identity, which proves the very point of us as Israelites, because it said we would lose our heritage, and we're not trying to be a part of no black fashion show like along with this black bullshit that's happening in the world. Black history, black culture, we ain't part of that. So we're not trying to find no identity. The identity is already there, and the black is not an identity anyway. So
it only makes sense. They like say the lost sheep of Israel.
Yeah.
Like that only makes sense. Us being able to regain our heritage back.
And trying to find an identity. I get that. Jake is trying to find an identity. This is our rightful identity. This proves who we are.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
This is Matthew. We're gonna start at verse 3 though. It's Matthew chapter 5, verse 3. Blessed are the poor in spirit.
Blessed are the poor in spirit. Not, they ain't talking about no Africans, no Hamites, no Edomites, because some of them are poor. They ain't talking about no poor Edomite. It's talking about poor in spirit, meaning we lost our heritage. We under the curses. We broken in our spirit about who do we look to? Where do we go to? How do we build our families back up? How do we get in a good social place with the economy without selling out? Go ahead.
For theirs is in the kingdom of heaven.
Theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Is that what
it's coming. Yeah,
theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So, and the Most High said, Yahawashi said it says of Yahawashi he became poor for our sake. So Yahawashi, in like manner, came in a humble, lowly, situation, lowly coming, you know, came on an ass, you know, born in a manger, you know, under the law, you know. So they would have hated Yahawashi too if he was here today. You know, so all these talking about Christian and this is a Christian God-fearing country, they lying about that shit. This is built on witchcraft and wickedness, man. Don't let the devil fool you.
They just try to have all these people claiming Trump is bringing them on a spiritual journey back to the Most High and whatnot. Come on, man. They don't even have no right saying that.
Yeah. It says in Scripture they have really no right to uphold the law of the book. I mean, to hold the book in their possession because they don't follow it. They don't abide by no word in it. You know, it says now Trump is trying to clean things up with trying to say, well, a man is a man, a woman is a woman. When y'all brought all this bullshit, you was the president before. You didn't do shit about that shit back then. You know, that shit was happening back then. What he did he come after Obama or right before Obama?
He came after.
He came after. So, Obama signed the fucking the alphabet thing into play. And you didn't say shit about that.
And that proves that Obama is a Hamite because you know they was known for that, you know, and Sodom.
Well, that's not the only thing that proves, but you know that.
Well, one of the things.
You know what I'm saying? It contributes to the fact that he is. But go ahead.
Blessed are they that mourn.
Blessed, who's mourning? It said Judah mourning the gates of language, leadership language. They are blackened to the ground. The cry of Jerusalem is gone up. And black is it could be metaphoric too for mourning, but nah, they're black, and they you know, if you go to Job, black, I think the word is Sakar. If you look into the scriptures, it could relate to skin too as well. You know, so the Israelites are so-called black, Latino, Native Americans. No matter you could put off those labels because when you know if we're just brown people from dark to light skin to you know what have you without those labels, because they'll try to go into history and say, well, the Michigan did this and you know Latino did that. It wasn't. It ain't about the name because the names is bywords, man. It's about the spirit of the people. And, you know, locations according to the prophecy, but it's about the spirit of the people. And it's about us losing our heritage overall. They lost their heritage. They don't got no heritage either. They believe in Guadalupe, which is a damn lie. They believe in you know, all the gods that the Most High told Israel not to worship. Go ahead. And who's going to take them in? The so-called Mexicans work for the Chinese people. Why? Why is that? Why are they using these certain people and on a mockery level and not everybody else? You only never seen an Elamite work for a Chinese person, you know, or an African working for a Chinese. Go ahead.
For they shall be comforted.
They should be comforted with this scripture, with these words first, because it said the Holy Spirit is the comforter, and then overall we're gonna get to go back home. But we're comforted through these scriptures, through the word, through the brethren, through the ministry, and through blessings that the Most High gives us here and there, you know? Go ahead.
Blessed are the meek.
Blessed are the meek. Who is the meek? The ones that are lowly, humble, the ones that, you know, consider the Most High, His word and what is prophesied of them. They said we will lose our heritage. We got to suck that up. We can't be like, well, I don't know. I don't believe in that God. Now you got to be like, yeah, we messed up. That's why we in this condition. So now we got to be times, like it says, back with the Most High, you know?
And at the same time, facilitate ourselves, you know, and take care of ourselves, you know, while we do that. That's why we still go to work. That's why we do all those kind of things. It's just like when we read Isaiah 4:1, all them women that's going to come to those men, they're going to be like, hey, we still got to keep ourselves together, but we know that You know, we messed up and we trying to get right. And that's how we are with the Most High.
Yeah, and you know Esau's he's a game player, and the Most High lets him play games.
Mm-hmm.
And he's playing games. He said, "Let's see what the Negro will do if we take the man out the house. Let's see what he do if we put drugs in the community." You know, it's a hateful gameplay, but it's still a game, just like Squid Games. You know, that's what he's taking Jake on. Now he's trying to move it up to another level of chess. You know, go ahead.
Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth.
We shall inherit the earth. That means, what does it say? As for the heathen, and I should give them for your inheritance. That's part of us inheriting the earth. And we're going to be ruling over these heathens. Because these heathens are for the gameplay too, what Esau. They wear suit and tie with Esau too. Moab got a McDonald's over there. You know what I'm saying? They starting to get fat and shit. Remember, they used to just be sticks and Chinese sticks. What do they call them? What do they call those, man?
Chopsticks.
Chopsticks. They used to look like chopsticks. Now they're getting, you know, weighty, a little bit weighty over there. You know what I'm saying? Because they got McDonald's and the same shit that America had. So they in it with the harlot too, and in the cookie jar. You know? So they're planning to be a part of this system too. That's why China is the third and as a superpower. And they just put so-called, tax America 34% of the imports that's coming in. Because they, I mean, as far as business-wise, economically, they really kind of control a lot of that stuff imported coming in because of the deal that they made with that America made with them. Like that's why everything is made in China here. You know, so the meek shall inherit the earth. They ain't talking about, you know, a lowly Edomite or a Hamite that's over there in Ethiopia starving and all that. Because they don't even know the Most High. If anything, they should have been calling out for the Most High. As if they the people of the Most High, they shouldn't call out for America. They should be calling out for Yahawah or Yahawashi if that was their God, but it's not. The God of the Bible is not the God of them. Their God is idols, like it says. All these heathen, they're idols. Their gods are idols. Psalms 96:5. So the whole all this playing field, the main characters, like we always say, is Esau and Jacob, so-called white man and so-called Black, Latino, Native American man. You know, go ahead.
I got one Psalm 37.
Good.
Okay, it's Psalm 37, verse. I started verse 9. It says, "For evildoers shall be cut off."
Yeah, evildoers. That's what they are. Evildoers. Our people are evildoers. They're gonna be cut off on their side with the missiles, with judgment. But Esau is gonna completely get cut off, as is pursuant to Job. It said the seed of the wicked shall be cut off, and there's no more shall remain of the house of Esau. Let you know it's talking about Esau as the wicked. It says the wicked are an authority that people mourn, and that's what they are. They're an authority now. And don't get it twisted. If they're gonna have to figure out some real check, Most High is moving. He's letting them know, because it says what is to say. Most High remove pride from men by pretty much instructing him. So because they're gonna have to really think about this last move, because what's happening is even American citizens are divided against each other. Even Edomites hate the government. Even you could hear from a common Edomite says, "Yeah, America is going to be destroyed." I believe that. They all the stuff that they done in the world and what they done to the Negroes and all that, they agree with us. So we're the prophets of doom. Well, they're the listeners, or they're the
Damn cheerleaders.
Yeah. Honking they horn, those are Edomites that be passing. I mean, some of them Jake, but shit. A lot of them are
Edomites.
Yeah. Why are they honking their horns? Yeah,
They tired of being Esau. Shit, they ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay?
Some of them gonna be trying to get to the field before the other Edomites.
Because you gotta understand, the Lord created them like that. It's in their DNA to want to do everything that's gonna cause them to be destroyed forever. That's their DNA. But that's what they want to do.
And they
That's how
find
you set them up.
they're finding out that nothing what they do makes sense.
Nothing. Nothing what they do makes sense.
And you know that water thing I posted to the brother in the chat, that if you try to make water, as far as those two elements that go, they don't go together. It cause an explosion. So how was water made without the explosion? And certain other things too. The Most High is like that. He can have fire burn under the water.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So hey, that's the Most High. They ain't them. So we don't give them credit for shit, man. They the cave people, remember that. But we understand the powers that they do have right now. We understand that. Go ahead.
Back in Psalm 37:9, for evildoers shall be cut off, but those that wait upon the Lord, Yahawashi.
And that's a mockery. They trying to mock us with that. Look at him that wait upon the Lord. Look, where's your Lord? It says, he that the fool said in his heart, there is no God. Where is your God? I think it was David. I think it was in Psalm said that my meat is my tears, as they say, daily, as they say, where's thy power? Where's your God? You know, these niggas don't have no money. You know, they don't have no family structure. They don't have no, you know, they don't have nothing. And still, yet, you know, to this very day, it seemed like that God would have came back, but they don't know the Most High. They don't know the Most High. And they don't know we in punishment. Sometimes you be like wanting to play outside with the kids, and you know, when you're young, you get your ass whooped and you look out the window and shit, see the kids playing like a motherfucker. You be like, damn, I want to be out there. And the kids be like, what's wrong with him? I'm like, yeah, why are you inside? Yeah, he's still on punishment. Damn, this long? Yeah, your parents punish you for like 2 or 3 months. Why are you going to school? Why are the kids still play in the yard or whatever on the streets? And it seemed like fucking forever.
And that's when you gotta apply your mind to understand why you're going through that. Because if you don't learn what you're supposed to learn in that time, whenever you're not under your parents' supervision, you're gonna get in trouble out there. You're gonna go out there and gonna find out these kids playing outside be doing wicked shit, man.
Yep, getting into shit,
getting into trouble around them anyways. Yep. You know what I'm saying?
And your parents see, because your parents be peeping the shit out. They be certain, hey, don't go over that. He ain't no good friend. They'll leave certain other parents alone because why can't I go to other one? Because that bitch, she's evil. They see it before you do. So the Most High see things before we do. That's why he's like, yeah, this is good for you. This is good medicine. Keep you down while the world. Well, you see what's happening in the celebrity world. Jake wanted to be celebrity. That was his dream. Basketball player, NFL, all the motherfuckers getting caught up. Contracts, killing wives killing them, dope, gang banging and shit. They cut off all that shit.
You get strung out on painkillers and stuff because of all the injuries and stuff they had to deal with throughout their career, stuff like that. So it's just
look what happened to Angie Stone. You know, all that time, everybody's like, hey, Angie Stone, she's good singing, all that. And then at her ultimate stage, or the last outcome of her stage is death, by which she trying to separate and trying to get her money that she thought she was getting. So that's that. So Most High said, I'm keeping you low for a reason. Go ahead.
But those that wait upon the Lord,
and I'm having you wait for a reason. Go ahead.
They shall inherit the earth.
They shall inherit the earth. You know? Look up that word inherit right quick. I can look it up. Inherit definition.
Here's the definition of
Yeah, you can get it.
Receive.
Okay, here you go. Okay.
Or a title as an heir at the death of the previous holder.
Receive money, because we're gonna have plenty of that, but there ain't gonna be no fiat money like this dumbass shit, paper money. We're gonna have gold and silver, jewels and gems, diamonds and, you know what I'm saying? Marble, ivory, crystals. Ain't gonna be no this dumbass shit. We're gonna have the finest wood.
Gonna be no fiat currency.
Nah.
You don't need none of that.
Nope. Property. We're gonna inherit. The nation is gonna be our property. Most High is gonna have us expand our borders, and that's the whole world. That's the whole universe. The whole outer, that outer limit stuff, that's gonna be us. We're gonna go outside the
Yeah.
limits of what was limited
Yeah.
to the average man.
Yeah.
Title, we're gonna be entitled to have rulership, staff. As an heir at the depth of the previous holder. Who was the previous holder? Esau.
That's right.
And he's gonna reach death. We're gonna reach the heirs at his death. So when he go down, we go up.
And that's why we waiting on his destruction.
Mhm.
That's why we are truly focused on that.
Mhm.
You got so many jakes, they trying to just stay here, man. They want to have this idea thinking that this is it or something.
Then they're trying to change the narrative. Somebody, yeah, we didn't really do hard bondage, slavery, and all that. It had nothing to do with Egypt and all that. It had nothing to do with us being the children of Israel. It just happened. You're talking about millions of people just happen to go into slavery under base people. Knowing Jake can fight like a motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? We didn't have to learn to fight. We knew how to fight. You body slam a person. How did the slave, just a big grown ass slave, come to subject himself to a rag-tooth Edomite? Because it's the Most High. Not them. Go ahead.
It's in the blue letter, the definition of inherit, which is Yarash. It says to occupy by driving out previous tenants and possessing.
Occupied or drive out previous tenants.
And possessing in their place.
And possessing in their place. That's what's going to happen with, these other lands. We're going to set dominance and rulership. They're going to get their portion of land, but what they're going to know that the only reason that they have it is because of us. Most High, through Yahawah, Yahawashi, the power and the power of the gods, which we're going back to where we're allowing them to have land. Because without us, there's no them. We're the original, origin of everything. We're the original gods. We say that humbly. But, go ahead.
It said also to expel.
Expel. Just like Claudius expelled Jews, we're going to expel them. Go ahead. Because really, Esau's he's the man, he's the wild man, really. He's the one that causes uproars. He's the one that's why these nations are mad at America. We like waking up. Yeah, China said they're going to destroy, man. You like, what the fuck, China? What we do to China? What did U.S. do to China? Then you hear China talking shit on news. You like, oh shit. They getting us in trouble because we're here, but we ain't a part of it. But still, it's like we live in this land. It's like, damn. That's what we say. The leadership, man. What did it say? As the king, and so is the people. Just like that IUIC thing, man. That was unwise, man. Go over there in Kenya, like what's in Kenya, man? They got internet. They could have just popped there. I'm pretty sure they've seen some videos already of the Israelites. I'm pretty sure. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. And then it says also to rob, to seize.
To rob or to seize. That's inherit, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So you talking about, well, it says saints shall take the kingdom.
Yep, that's what I was thinking.
So it's like, if they say, well, that sounds like violent, well, that's what inherited.
Yep.
How'd y'all get this land? You inherited, you took it by violence and robbed it. Like you do everything else. So what did it say? It say, do to him, they got a saying in this world, do to others as you were going done to you. Well, you raped, robbed, and murdered the land. Well, that means that you would want somebody to do that to you.
Yeah. Revelation 18th chapter, he said, do unto her as
she has done to you.
Double. Yeah, it said double.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Back in Psalm 37 and verse 10, it says, for yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be.
Yeah, a little while. And 1,000 years, one day is 1,000 years, the Most High. So our wait in human form is a long time. But the Most High is like, that's why the prayers got to go up, because we're pleading with the Most High to make it shorter. They said he's shortening the time for the elect. Say why? Because the elect is crying out. Mark them that cry inside for, like, you know how you get on your parents' nerves, you like, can I borrow the car? Can I borrow the car? You ask them all day. They no, you can't borrow. Let me just run the street with the car. Okay. Well, here's the keys, but be back at this time. Like, it don't happen unless you know what I'm saying?
You gotta kind of press it.
Yeah.
He said, come up
Press
to
the issue.
Yeah, he said approach the Lord boldly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's bold to become to the power of the universe when he's all knowing, and you be like, come on, get it going on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
And then they let you know he's a father. Most High wants us to pray to him and talk to him as a father, not some weird ass entity and shit.
Like he's like we're on his level or something. Like we're his best friend or something.
No, not only that, but as a stranger, he's a creature. I mean, like, he's some kind of weird creature.
Yeah, I was
I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
but
he's Christians,
he's a father,
The Christians try to make it seem like they can just choose the Lord.
Yeah.
To choose to be with him or something, like he needs them and shit.
But it says, ask of your father, he should give you the land. What it say is your father's good pleasure to give you the land, give you the king. Cause he's a father. He's like, sometimes you gotta talk to Most High, like, Most High, like, what's up with this? Man, in a respectful, humble way. But you're like, come on, Most High, we tired of this. Because he's our father. He's like, all right, man, let me rise up some stuff over here, and then next thing you know, China's in the news talking about, I would destroy America, and he's like, all right, Mother,
and then you got Trump threatening Iran, and they moving more battleships over there.
Mm-hmm.
So the Lord,
it's really moving.
Even when they talked about how he would move the waters, a Lord doesn't just do stuff; it takes time.
Mm-hmm.
He shows you that everything takes time. Even when we had to get across the waters to get out of Egypt, the last time he said that he had to put a chariot between them and the Egyptians, so they couldn't get to him, so he could move the waters through the night. He wasn't just gonna do it instantly.
Yeah. And some things, do come quickly. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You be like, that's the Most High too, but don't doubt him on the long suffering part.
Yeah, you got to stick around.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, it says, but yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be.
A little while. Go ahead.
Yea, that thou shalt diligently consider his place,
Mm-hmm.
and it shall not be.
It shall not be. Go ahead. And the core of his place right here is Rome, last Rome Margaret. That's his last hoorah to have a kingdom like until he wanted for himself, because over there he can't have that, because the Eastern world is over there. It's too much judgment and too much. You see that the wars there's been wars ever since over there. Mm-hmm. Going back even when the father Bush was in Baghdad and Afghanistan, and
them earthquake that just happened in Thailand.
Mm-hmm.
They jacked up over there, man. They talking about the body count. It's way higher than what they saying on TV, because they can't count all them bodies, man.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them bodies in pieces, man.
Yeah.
You can't count all that shit.
Yeah,
man.
they got
you can't
tsunamis
count
and all
the death
that.
of the Lord, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we just know it's many.
And that's the earth fighting back for survival.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because the earth is supposed to be nurtured. It's supposed to breathe. It's supposed to, the land Sabbaths supposed to be included. The wars, it ain't supposed to be no war and shit, but it has to, for the purpose of what's going on now, the purpose of the end. Mm-hmm. Can't be peace without war. Go ahead.
It says, thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be, but the meek shall inherit the earth.
Mm-hmm. The meek shall inherit the earth. GMS. I didn't put one on there. Meek shall inherit the earth.
Trying to see if I can pull it up over here.
Yeah, it says, but the meek shall inherit the earth.
Meek shall inherit the earth. Go ahead.
And shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace.
In the abundance of peace, eternally. Peace. So we got to get past this war. And it's really a war of the mind. It's really a war in their spirit, you know, because that's something, you know, the devil tries to attack, and you see that through psychological means, through this TV, through entertainment. He don't have to come for you. He just set some shit up right in front of you and see if you'll taste of it. You know, Negroes, I'm not gonna lie, they didn't have to touch the crack, but let's be honest, it didn't come as crack right away. It was played with first, and then it turned into something that was usable, and that, you know what I'm saying. Then it got worse and worse, and then now you know, next thing you know, niggas on crack. Yeah. Same thing with today, you know, Percocets and all that. You know what I'm saying? These rappers on all them drugs. And nobody's saying they on crack. You know, why is it not an epidemic like it was? Cracking. You got that? Did you get?
I'm working on it right now.
Yeah, I just read it from here.
Okay, yeah, I had to.
It's Exodus 14 and 13. See what that says.
Yeah.
Acts 13. I mean, Exodus.
Yeah.
What's the Exodus, right?
13 and 14.
I had to change my
Exodus 13 and 14, King James.
Got it. It's like Exodus 13.
14 and 13.
Oh, 14. 13. Exodus chapter 14, verse 13. And Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord, Yahawashi.
See the salvation of the Lord, yeah. Go ahead.
Which he will show to you today.
Mm-hmm.
For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever.
Yeah.
Wow.
So and what did the Egyptians do back then? They drowned in the Red Sea. And this is going to become a Red Sea of fire and blood, mixed with blood. And these are the modern day Egyptians. This is also spiritual Egypt right here in America. So it's like manner happening today, as it did in the days of Moses, did in the days of Noah, did in the days of Yahawashi. You know, prophets during the time of all the prophets that ever prophesied during the kingdom, because it says the prophets spoke from the beginning, since the beginning of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So ever since Adam fell, there have been counsel. And people don't like counsel. That's why they call us the prophets of doom. They want to live in a free and liberty. What you know what that means? That means free from Yahawah, Yahawashi. You know what I'm saying? That's what they mean.
Yeah.
Freedom and liberty.
Yeah. And
oh yeah, we'll get into it. But it reminds me of what we mentioned earlier about Italy. The Statue of Liberty was a black woman.
Mm-hmm.
They raised it as a sign against America, a warning against America.
And it showed a black woman chained up, and she had the orange jumpsuit on, and really it resembled Israel. They got Israel in captivity.
That's right. I think that was the sign.
Yep.
That was the sign, because it was not too long after Putin came out with those icons.
Mm-hmm. And then you got the French Parliament, some of their governors in there, and politicians are saying, "Get back the Statue of Liberty, because y'all ain't really about liberty over here." Okay, y'all about bondage and slavery.
Exactly. Yep. And we're in prison of Yahawashi in righteousness. Most High said, hey, you know how you say you get a kid, you in the kennedy, hey, don't touch that, don't touch that. Because you don't want to be trained to just go bunkers and shit whenever you see something you like and shit. You're like a pretty ass woman. Hold on. Those are the kind of women that might have these diseases and shit. Or might have that thinks she's better than everybody else. She's gonna be trouble. Yeah. Son, don't do that. And you be like, why? I don't see nothing wrong with her. She's pretty. I just, you know what I'm saying? Why can't I get that? Trust me, son. And then if you do, you end up knowing what the Father was talking about in your later days.
Mhm.
So that's what the Father always do, send us instructions, send us manuals, send us the Bible, send us law, and say, before you have your fun and desires, do this constructively and orderly, and then you can have that. What is they say, he that pretty much abided to the kingdom of heaven, all things should be added into him.
Mhm.
You know,
Seek the kingdom of the Most
seek the
High
kingdom of
first.
the Most High
Yeah,
first,
seek
that's
and
all
all things should be added into
Just like you were saying, like, like the brother, this truth comes first.
him.
This truth is everything.
Up there.
You know?
Yeah, 'cause, yeah, and you feel better about yourself as well, because when you put this truth first, you study. I mean, because it's a balance, Lord knows, Jake, me wanna, we got things going on. There ain't nothing wrong with that. But we gotta put this truth first, man. We gotta put this hey, do these lessons. You might got a chick you wanna go deal with. Okay, cool. Put that lesson up first. Do 2 of them first. You got to, But this not the Lord, and you feel better about yourself. Like, sure, you don't feel, because me personally, I feel like if I go do something that's, outside of, conduct of the ministry,
Yeah, your
I
take,
feel
like,
weird. I wouldn't feel right if I didn't take care of that first.
Yeah.
You know,
Because we bought with a price, like we were
Come.
talking about last night. We bought with a price, and we gotta fulfill that oath, man. This is what we signed up for. We signed up before we could even remember. And when it really comes down to it, this is the only way we exist.
That's right.
And
And the laws are just training wheels,
Yeah.
until we get it perfect, which is going to be in the kingdom, but they're just training wheels.
Ooh, you made me think it was.
It ain't like we're going to, have to, just like, it's going to be in us to keep it naturally.
Yep.
And it's going to be pure, once again. Paul even said that. He said, how can I know, he was thankful for the law, because how could he know not to do something unless he learned it from the law? To say not do it. But then there's a war within that, because now you like the thing that was introduced to you, and you know how when you tell a kid don't touch the plug, that makes him want to touch it, because he's curious about why can't I? And he finds out, and then his arm is almost electrified and shit. And he's like, yeah, okay, I ain't gonna do that no more.
Yeah, I got a couple of them, but I'm gonna go ahead in a second. But I wouldn't stick with the topic. Going into us inheriting the earth, but then there was another one you put up that was good. He got another one.
Yeah.
Okay. This is Isaiah chapter 65 verse 22, and it reads, "They shall not build and another inhabit." And that's how it is right now. They inhabiting the earth right now. They have everything, but
in the beginning, it lets you know it's talking about Israel.
yeah, it's talking about Israel. Yeah.
But in the beginning, you could read that it's talking to Israel. So,
Yeah, I just didn't want to.
Yeah, exactly. Get to the point. Yeah. So, but the curses said, "You shall build a house, and another shall dwell in it. You shall plant a vineyard, and another shall drink from it." But this time, what did it say?
It said they shall not build and another inhabit.
Yeah.
Going in, and we're gonna know because it says the elect at the end this. They shall not plant and another eat.
Yeah. So ain't nobody gonna eat up our crops. Ain't nobody gonna be dwelling our dwelling places.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody gonna come and take our land over.
Ain't nobody gonna be messing with our resources.
Like Russia is not gonna rise up again and overtake us.
God, I see, man. They goofy, man. For as the days of a tree are the days of my people.
Okay? And you see trees are older than man and unmovable.
There's some trees that still are here today that Jake was hung on 300, 400 years ago, and they're still out here. Like they're still witnesses. The trees are witnesses against Esau. Not just let on us. And he said he see men as trees.
And he said and that's a physical terrestrial thing. Yeah. But Most High, even celestial beings, he said, if these depart, Israel shall be no more. But have they departed? No. The sun and moon, stars still up there, orderly. So we're still here. You know, but they, like we said, they're trying to bomb the moon. I think they're gonna try to send another spacecraft
Mhm.
in end of 2025, 26 or something like that by this date, whatever.
It's not gonna work.
Go ahead. No. The moon will swallow, chariot will swallow that up before it hits the moon.
It's not happening.
Yeah.
And it says, and mine elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands.
Hey, Most High, hey, I was just thinking about how people said they seen two moons. But Most High can make that apparitional, you know, statement, an apparitional statement by making it look like it's two moons out there. Or if he wanted to, he could put two moons. I'm just saying that these are the things that Esau try to tap into by what he sees. The carnality of his heart is led astray. Because Most High said he chose their delusions. So even if he thought he destroyed the moon, it'll be another moon. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was it for that one. But
yeah, what was it?
the other one?
No, the key point in that too.
Oh, keep on just talking about the elect. You know,
Yeah.
enjoy they'll enjoy the fruit of their hands.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? They're gonna get to actually inherit the earth.
Yeah.
You know, those men.
And use the resources for what they really use. Or Esau don't know how to use resources, man.
Mhm.
Gold is a part of an element. It's not to be worshipped. You know? So, but Esau got his in his caverns and all that, you know, like it's some top of the notch deal and not using it as a resource. You know, the gold heals the land, helps heal the land, it helps heal the body. We're made of the elements, but so much more because we're a spiritual being also. And Most High is going to magnify that, you know, when He manifests the sons of God, like it says in the scriptures. Somebody got something else?
Yep,
Yeah,
I got something. Oh, you got something? Go ahead.
I'll go get second Ezra, the 7th chapter.
Oh, righteousness. We're gonna get that too. Righteousness is immortal.
Okay.
So that's in the Apocrypha, and that's coming. Okay, immortality, right? In righteousness we rule because you know this rule is ruled by mortal means, mortal men, mere mortals. You know, the gods are not the gods. It's different. You know, it's different level of gods, but the true gods that will rule any mortality of the Israelites, not them. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. I was gonna put up that righteousness is immortal for him.
All right, this second Ezra chapter 7, verse 41. It said, even so now, seeing corruption is grown up and wickedness increased.
And it increased in Adam's heart. And Adam, the true Adamites that that Most High called in the spirit, broke away from that wickedness that was grown in Adam's heart. You know, now we're not listening to the woman, hearkening to the woman like Adam did. You know, we're not hiding now. We're on the highways and byways now. You know, we're taking off our old garments and putting on the beautiful garments the Most High made us spiritual. You know, they said what they say, take off that beggarly elements. You know what I'm saying?
Get rid of the immortal thoughts.
Yeah, take off that immortality.
Because he said this is written for our
Put on
learning.
immortality. Yeah.
It's written for our learning. So we got the knowledge, so we don't do the same thing. So we can't be over here like making the same mistakes because we got the knowledge now. You know,
and you know, like when you like the scripture you just quoted, like he said, put off the weak nature. So because when you follow, I believe the next precept it said, for a greater thing that you have seen now shall happen hereafter. So basically, you know, get that weak, you know, like you said, weak nature.
Cut off the weak nature because the Lord is.
Go ahead.
He's weakening the wicked, right? Like you say, he's weakening the wicked. So if you're in the spirit, you're increasing. You're the one that's gonna be stronger in everything on the planet. That's part of the inheritance. You know?
That's why you got old men walking around putting on diapers and smelling old panties and shit, and that's their whole life and shit. They don't have no no wisdom there, no growth or no elderlyship there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they didn't turn into fuck boys.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you want to try to be occupied in the prophecies, and go ahead in the word.
It says, and the righteous have prayed for the ungodly. Wherefore shall it not be so now also? He answered me and said, this present life is not the end where much glory doth abide.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore have they prayed for the weak. But the day of doom shall be the end of this time.
Yeah, because if you see somebody by the way, and you see your people out there and they smoking cigarettes, and you be like, damn, man.
Yep.
And he's a good person, but he's still doing ungodly things. You be like, man, hopefully you can get right, man. Hopefully y'all people can get right.
That's what we doing.
Because it says warn the wicked, not Esau, but it says warn the wicked. Go ahead.
And like the scripture said, this present life is not the end,
Mm-hmm.
where much glory doth abide. That glory is talking about the kingdom. See, this ain't the kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't the the kingdom of heaven is not set up, established right now.
Well, yeah, but it's the representation of it.
Come, well,
Through the man.
through the man, of
Yeah.
course, yeah.
Because the most Yahawashi said, the kingdom is within you.
That's right.
They didn't even understand it. How is the kingdom? Like, where is the kingdom? They wanted some carnal touch in a temple made with hands. Like I said, the Most High dwells not in temples made with hands. The temple is ye.
Yep, that's right.
Go ahead.
He said, but the day of doom shall be the end of this time.
Shit, the day of doom?
Yep.
Prophets to doom, baby.
Yep.
It's going to be a doom day. Doomsday, they got it, 12 o'clock. Boom. Hey, it's about to sound in a minute.
Yeah.
It already did.
Yeah.
We didn't hear it. Maybe because that's
we in the house.
Go ahead. Yeah.
And a lot of people,
In the
hey,
house too.
and you know what? A lot of people, they read the scriptures, but they don't read it with a spiritual, with spiritual understanding. Because when the angel, the Uriel, I believe they was speaking of Esdras, when he said the day of doom shall be the end of this time, he was talking about this was written so that the prophets could pick up on it and need it in this time and read it and break it down, because he wasn't talking about at that time back then,
because nobody was talking about World War III. But now they're talking about World War III. So.
And also when Yahawashi read scriptures, sometimes he said, and this is filled right now.
Yeah, yep. See, hey, man.
Yeah.
Power.
Yeah.
See?
So yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's
how
it.
it worked.
He said, but the day of doom shall be the end of this time, and the beginning of the immortality for to come.
And you know who's the end of the world, because it says that in the scriptures. Second Ezra 6 and 9.
Yep.
Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob's the beginning of their follow. So, the immortality is going to kick in to where it's going to be end of this man, but not us. It's going to be our just beginning. You know how you ever have a big ass, you just bought a new house and it's big, it's like a 3 or 4 or 5 bedroom, and you checking in, you know what I'm saying? You checking all the bedrooms, and then you just fascinated by the things that's in there. You checking the cabinets, and they're fresh and painted, and you go. That's just in the house, and you go in the kitchen, and then you like how there's a new fridge, new stove, and then you go out there in the backyard, and it's a big ass backyard, and you're like, damn, it's a great amount of yard and fence, and you like, I could do my pottery right here, I could plant. Well, it's going to be much greater than that. And that's a Jake mind where they kind of feel like they could be satisfied with that. Most High said, nah, these blessings going to overtake you. The first day of the kingdom is going to be, great like the other 1,000 years with Yahawashi, even in eternity. So that joy will never end. Could you imagine being joyous just straight through eternally? You know what I'm saying? Just happy eternity. They can't fathom that. We've been through hell and shit on the side. Go ahead.
Said in the beginning of the immortality for to come.
Really, Yahawashi say, in my father's house there's many mansions. And them mansions are you know, planets, and you know, you might go through a portal and see a whole another world of that you're able to inhabit with righteousness. You know what I'm saying? It's righteousness reigning throughout the galaxy. You know what I'm saying? You might have a planet called righteous. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
And the beginning of the immortality for the come.
Because one thing too is like if you have somebody that passed, let's say, you know, even with David, he lost his first child, but he got replaced with Solomon. But you know, the joy of your people, they don't have to necessarily be somebody you knew in this world. You know what I'm saying? Like the fulfillment is there. The fulfillment of having joy and happiness. You might see your mother in the kingdom and recognize it, but she's happy, and she might be a part of a whole different family, whatever, but she's happy. That it'll fill your heart with joy because, yeah, that used to be my mother on earth, but
Yeah.
she, you know, she don't have to be your mother in the kingdom. I mean, we're going to be the fathers and mothers, but as long as she's happy, as long as she's your father and your mother's fulfill your family, you get to see them in the kingdom.
Yeah.
And as well as the brothers that die in Yahawashi, we're going to be closely knit. The 144,000.
And that honor thy father and thy mother, you know, that's going to be a way of showing that honor too. Like you're going to get to see them and be glad that, you know, they're in their rightful place. That's what it's going to be like for all of Israel.
Yeah.
You're going to be in a place where you're like, damn, this is exactly what I wanted. That's what Israel gets in the kingdom.
And then the women were happy. They mourned their first son, you know, whatever. But they said, God has given me another son. Most High is going to give us another kind of joy, another kind of happiness. That's going to replace this. We can be happy, you know, a lot of the things we do here, but that happiness is going to be, and the kingdom is going to be over this.
Yeah, because this happiness, anything that we get here is temporary. And that's always, we end up going back, you know, down to a state where we like, damn, we got to get out of here. And that's just like, you know, like we was talking about yesterday about, you know, where the Lord's economy, where his wealth, and what does economy do? It goes up and down. It don't ever stay in one constant position. But in the kingdom, it's going to be going up, and there's going to be no going down.
Go ahead.
It says, wherein corruption is past.
And corruption is past. And it says you're rich in faith. We are rich. You know, we are rich right now, but we're rich in faith. We're rich in hope. We're rich in glory and to be able to be able to praise the Most High, to have a God, to have a power, to have somebody on our side, you know.
And man, you know, that makes me think when you was talking about that dream you had earlier. That makes me think about kind of how you was referencing it, you know, to the truth, because like, you know, it talked about how Jacob, how we talked about yesterday with Esau, he supplanted Jacob supplanted Esau 2 times, and he said the 2 crates. You see what I'm saying? That's wild, man. That's like literally what it is, because he was like, man, they could come for us any moment, man. They could pull up on us any moment, and we got them. We got the crates. You had to put some stuff over it, make it look like it was.
There was so much money in there, man. It's like,
ooh, that's heavy, man.
It was like two. It's hard to explain, like,
man,
2, you know, diesels worth of money.
It was crazy.
Filled to the top, all money. That's how much money it was in there.
He said, I tried to cover it up. He said, let's start buying some furniture and stuff, man. So we got some stuff in there.
It kind of felt like that feeling of, like I you know, like a dream I told to the brother, like I felt like they were gonna come get us, like we talked about it. It could be, you know, talking about that flood, when the enemy come in like a flood. So, you know, that's why, you know, one of the reasons why we bringing it up too, brother bringing it up, that we were the wealth, you know. It wasn't that the money was, because we're the ones that you put in work to get money. So your labor, when women say they counted their labors for not. So, you know, where the real labor says your labor is not in vain, because even Solomon said all the labors that done in a man of a man that's done under the sun is vanity. How do our labor count? Well, doing the ministry, doing the work, doing the Most High's work, the love of the brotherhood, the labor of the brotherhood for each other. You know, go ahead.
It says, wherein corruption is past and temperance is at an end.
Yeah, temperance. This is temporary. You know, these bodies are temporary.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this, everything, you know, this, even with America, it's like we said, it's some beautiful things in America. As far as, you know, the nature of it, you know what I'm saying, things were created. You might find a good piece of land or something, or, you know, a nice area, see a view over the lakes or something like that, some waters, but this place is going to be destroyed. You know, and because the Most High got greater stuff for us, man. Just like, you know, when the first child died and Solomon came. What did he become? A king. He was actually chosen to be the king, the very son of David, which was Yahawashi. And even Elkanah told Hannah, like, Hannah, am I not better than 10 sons? Like, why are you crying over 10 sons? You still got me. So the value in this place is set at discord. You know, it's not true value of what it's supposed to be. We're the real value. Like the apostles always say, the men of the Lord are the real men of value. Man, what's the word for it? The value man. You know, top valued man.
High value.
High valued man. Something like that. Go ahead.
It says, the temperance is at an end. Infidelity is cut off.
Mm-hmm.
Righteousness is grown.
Oh, righteousness is grown.
And truth is sprung up.
Truth is sprung up. So, you know, you have righteousness. You know, it talks about the seed. Get the scripture we're talking about the grain of the seed, grain inside Adam's heart group. So all this stuff starts from an origin of a seed being planted. You know, a thought or an origin of things, a root taking place. And then once that root is grounded and it's hard to pluck up, it's hard to get out. Just like we learned all this Babylon shit for a long time. Now we gotta pluck that shit. We had to pluck that out of our minds with rebuke, counsel, or meditation, occupation with the scriptures. You got it? Grain in Adam's heart. Go ahead.
It's 2nd Ezra 4:30. For the grain of evil,
the grain of evil
seed had been
of evil seed. Go ahead.
Had been sown in the heart of Adam.
Sown in the heart of Adam.
From the beginning.
From the beginning.
And how much ungodliness
had
they brought up unto this time.
So that's how you know that's Jake tripping, Jake killing each other, Jake, you know, committing crimes high level, Jake doing this because we supposed to be the form. We're the form of all things. We're supposed to be the standard of righteousness. The nation's supposed to look at us and like, how are they that perfect, that pure? How are they upstanding like that? But they're gonna even know more because the Most High is, you know, it says the earnest expectations of the creature wait for the manifestations of God. Mm-hmm. They see that light coming from them. They go, you know, oh, that is the light. How did they get over there? They thought Esau was the light, but that's the real light. You know, coming from a dark place, coming from a beaten, trodden down place. You know, Most High said, you know, He's gonna make our rough places plain. He's gonna make our, you know, He's gonna open our borders. He's gonna open our mind, give us knowledge, wisdom, understanding, give us a fleshly heart, so we can absorb His word. You know, because what it said, that seed that fell on the stony ground, it fell out by the wayside. It couldn't be planted. You have to have raw soil and raw element on or whatever for the seed to be planted. You know, you got to become like a baby again, absorb and learn, so you can get it in you. And then that righteousness will grow in you now. It's automatic. And that's what we coming to, basically. Go ahead.
And how much ungodliness had they brought up unto this time,
To this time.
and how much shall they yet bring forth until the time of threshing come?
Mm-hmm. To the time of judgment come. Because they still out there doing wicked and having that seed growing and adding and watering that seed, that evil seed. You're supposed to be plucking it out right now. You know, what did it say? There's time for everything. Time to be planted, time to be plucked out. It's time to pluck out what was planted in your heart, that evil seed. How do you do that? Through the scriptures, through studying, through counseling, through listening to the apostles, elders, through recollection of your of your course, to be like, well, I can't do that shit. I gotta practice this more. Gotta read this more. Gotta, take some prophets for example, or even brothers for example, and a testimony of how you can better your walk.
Yeah, because you don't want to live your what you're doing as a cloak of maliciousness. Because it said that yourself will be a castaway if you be, not taking this all the way serious. Yeah,
that's what that drop on the stony, the seeds drop on the stony ground. Yeah, was cast away.
Yeah, and that's why when it says don't let weigh your sins down, it's very important that you like really see what they're saying, man. Because we gonna mess up every now and then or whatever, but you can't take that and condemn yourself. You gotta keep walking, and you gotta keep yourself around other brothers because they're gonna have strengths that you don't got, and that's what you focus on. So that's what's gonna build your weaknesses. That's right.
It says better infirmities of the weak. I mean, infirmities of the weak. Of your brother. Because it's a cold world out there, man. And it's a confederacy, like we say. That's proven. They confederately doing shit against us. Raising taxes, raising rent.
Because they want you to fold. They want you to blame yourself.
Yeah.
For what's going on.
Exactly. I'm no good. I'm a fuck up.
Yeah. Or I might not make it. They want you to think like that. They make it when they hit you.
Yeah.
And they tell you that in the book they tell you that in the book of Psalms. What did the Heavenly Father? He said, what is that? He said he knew that they were but ashes. Roughly paraphrasing, you know what I'm talking about. Like, yeah, they going out, but he know, like, I mean, because he wake up with as a worm is what it's hard to be righteous, man. It's hard to be completely righteous. That's not easy to, it's hard to. That's why Yahawashi, when he came and fulfilled, kept the law perfectly. That's why he was rewarded. Because that ain't easy at all, man. So Yahawashi, they understand that.
Well, he was the law.
Yeah, he will come. Yeah.
But it said he said he's the pastor. He's what it say? He's the
way of truth and the life.
Nah, he's the
chief cornerstone.
That too, but he's the head of the Passover. He's the Lord of the Passover. Yeah. Yeah. So the things that they were doing about Moses, they wasn't keeping perfectly because they wasn't seeing it spiritually. But the law did do good on the carnal level. It's a carnal commandment, but if they understood it spiritually, then it'll work for them. It is for us.
I got that. Otherwise, this is important for you too.
I want to get this. For the seas took over the wood, King James Version. The second address, I think. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Yeah, second address. We started.
Okay. So this is a good one.
Yeah. Let's see where it starts. Let's start at the chapter. That's second address. What was I just saying? Second address. Why doesn't it say the chapter? Oh, 4. Second address 4, verse 1. And the angel that sent it to me, whose name was Uriel, gave me an answer and said, thy heart hath gone too far in this world, like a lot of our people. Like, you got to stop yourself, consider, and say, well, let me not think of it in a worldly way. Let me think of it spiritual way. Let me dissect this, and even when you're out in public, wherever you are. But and you can't compare. It says in the scriptures, I think it's Corinthians says, comparing spiritual things with spiritual things, not physical things with spiritual things. They're two different fashions. So it says, and thinkest thou to comprehend the way of the Most High? Question mark. Then said I, yea, my Lord. And he answered me and said, I am sent to show thee 3 ways, and to set forth thee 3 similitudes before thee. We always talk about similitudes. Whereof, if thou canst declare me one, I will show thee also the way that thou desirest to see. That's how you know Most High, the angels pick at your mind. Most High is want us to figure it out. That's what you want your son to do. Like, hey, son, I'm gonna teach you, but you gotta learn this still on your own, man. I could show you some things, but you gotta apply it and go out there and live it.
So search the scriptures.
It says, and I shall show thee from whence the wicked heart cometh, the wicked mind cometh. And I said, tell on, my Lord. Then said he unto me, go thy way. That sounds like some Jake stuff. Tell on, my Lord. You know what I'm saying? Keep going, Lord. Like, Esau would have been trapped up in this. Then said he to me, go thy way, wait me the weight of the fire, or measure me the blast of the wind at the end of the day that is past. You can't do that. Who measures the blast of wind? Esau can't measure sin. He can't, you know what I'm saying? He can't count the way. He can't do what the Most High does.
And that's what he be trying to do. That's why he be doing them sentences for 3 consecutive sentences, like trying to measure out how horrible something is or how wicked something is. He can't do that, man.
Yeah.
But whatever he does is the Most High, telling him to do it.
Yeah. He can't figure it out. Like I said, a lot of his stuff is experimental. He don't even know what to do. Like we said, we mentioned something earlier that might be Esau experimenting with some shit.
Yep. Going into the polar vortex being broken. That's why it's still 50 degrees and cold as hell in March. Yeah, they did mess with the damn polar vortex and then it crashed. So we're still cold as fuck in some places. And watching these tornadoes come in May, man. Watch when they come in May, man. Right when they issuing the real ID.
And then the sun,
It's gonna get real, man.
And if the tornado's still here, it's gonna be fire because it's gonna be hot as hell.
It's gonna be.
They're gonna cause fires and all that.
It's gonna be real because since that broke, that means that the vortex heals, everything's gonna be stronger, more intensified. Yeah, it's gonna get real.
It says, verse 6. Then answered I and said, what man is able to do that? That thou shouldest ask such things of me. Well, you wanted to know some things. And he said unto me, if I should ask thee how great dwellings are in the midst of the sea, or how many springs are in the beginning of the deep, or how many springs are above the firmament, or which are the outgoings of paradise, peradventure thou wouldest say unto me, I never went down into the deep, nor as yet into hell, neither did I ever climb up into heaven.
Yeah, like damn Edomites claim.
Yeah, they dig into hell.
Yeah.
But they would try to. But what is that ship that they were trying to do, that Titanic ship that they were trying to discover or whatever, or trying to it imploded, You can't go too deep into the sea.
Yeah, you had some archaeologists trying to dig into the earth too. And the furthest they could get was 1,200 kilometers. And then they said there is no metal on earth that could break through that point. They was down there trying every type of metal, diamonds, everything to try to break through that shit. They couldn't break through it.
And it said, neither did I ever climb into heaven. And remember, though they climb into heaven, I will bring them down. So, but Esau is, he ain't in the fourth dimension. He ain't in, what I'm saying? He can't go. He got a limit. So, but the Most High does give, him power to reach certain levels.
He gave him the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven, but that's it. You're getting the dew of it. You ain't getting nothing past that. Like your ass ain't going no further than that. They will never leave this earth.
It says, nevertheless, now have I asked thee, but only of the fire and wind, and of the day where thou hast passed, wherethrough thou hast passed, and of things from thou which thou cannot be separated, and yet can thou give me no answer of them. Yeah, like that's what it says. Earthly understand earthly, and it says Romans 1:20. You should understand the things that are made, understand the invisible things, but the things are made. So you got to put that together. You don't really have to leave Earth to understand the sun and moon and stars. Esau does, though. Esau will. He had attempted to go into the sea to understand the sea. We don't have to. But we will have the powers to, go freely where we may when we get them spiritual powers. Because that's given to righteous men. He said, moreover, unto me, thine own things and such as are grown up with thee can thou not know. How should thy vessel then be able to comprehend the way of the highest? And the world being now outwardly corrupted to understand the corruption that is evident in my sight. Then said I unto him, it were better that we were not at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how Jacob, like Job, it was better I had not even seen the daylight. I had died in my mother's womb. Why was I even born? Why were you even born here? But it says that then that we should live still in wickedness and to suffer and not to know whereof. He answered me and said, I went into a forest, into a plain, and the trees took counsel and said, come, let us go and make war against the sea, that it may depart away before us, and that we may make us more woods. So you got the trees want to make more woods against the sea. The floods of the sea also in like manner took counsel and said, come, let us go up and subdue the woods of the plain, that there also we may make us another country. The thought of the wood was in vain, for the fire came and consumed it. The thought of the floods of the sea came likewise to naught, for the sand stood and stopped them. So it's really saying that let the Most High's work be done. Like, don't try to interfere. Like, why is Esau ruling right now? Why does he got power right now? Why does he got weapons more than us? Because that's part of the movie.
He made a balance.
Yeah,
to where
we got righteous weapons,
yeah,
spiritual weapons that they can't see.
So they got this. Let's let Israel be in no more remembrance. So the Lord set up a brotherhood. That's like the sand stopping the ocean from overtaking the whole earth, man. And that we're the only thing that's keeping our people from being overtaken by Esau, man. The brotherhood. And they looking at us like we the damn problem and shit. Without us, your ass through.
And all his political talks and speeches, well, the word is coming against them. It said his word is going to be, it came down as a mighty warrior from the throne.
Like we're the only, starting with the elders and apostles, of course, we're the only way that there's any kind of physical representation of the Lord on the planet, because we're the only ones that's taking his name serious. We're the only ones who's abiding by that, and continually doing our best to edify the elect, man. Like there's nobody else on the planet doing that and putting that first.
We got a great chance of being first fruits of paradise. That's a great glory. I answered and said, verse 19, verily it is a foolish thought that they both have devised. For the ground is given into the wood, and the sea also hath his place to bear his floods. Then answered me and said, Thou hast given a right judgment, but why judgest thou not thyself also? For like as the ground is given into the wood and the sea to its floods, even so they that dwell upon the earth may understand nothing but that which is upon the earth. And he that dwelleth above the heavens may only understand the things that are above the height of the heavens. That's why it talks about the angels. They are entertained by us. They seek to know how we do things, handle things upon earth. Then answered I and said, I beseech thee, O Lord, let me have understanding, for it was not my mind to be curious of the high things, but of such as pass by us daily, namely, wherefore Israel is given up as a reproach to the heathen, and for what cause the people whom thou hast loved is given over into ungodly nations, and why the law of our forefathers is brought to naught, and the written covenants come to none effect. And we pass away as the world as grasshoppers, and our life is an astonishment and fear, and we are not worthy to obtain mercy. What will he then do unto his name whereby we are called? Of these things have I asked. Then answered he me and said, The more thou searchest, the more thou shalt marvel. For the world hasteth fast to pass away, and cannot comprehend the things that are promised to the righteous. There you go. In time to come. See, that stands out of all the people on the earth, the righteous, the meek, the cosmo. It says, for this world is full of unrighteousness and infirmity. So it has to be judgment. It has to be the floods. It has to be, the way that like we said, it has to be those dynamics, because we're just in the midst of this stuff. Most High called us out of the mist and out of it. And now we're looking at it like a movie, but we're still feeling the effects, because, you know how they got the movie theaters and you actually sit in the seat and the seat is moving and shit. Yeah. They make you feel like you're in the movie and shit. Well, we at that movie theater and shit, but it's not really happening to us. You know what I'm saying? On a level to where it's going to affect us overall. We're just watching the movie, But the Most High said these things must come to pass. Things must be. It must be, it has to be, we have to know about tornadoes, earthquakes, tsunamis, and shit, so we can understand that when we do rule over those powerful elements, that the Most High gave us the power to do so. He's still the Most High. We were under a beggarly state. Talk about he that returned back to the beggarly elements. We could be subject to the elements, man. We shouldn't have to. We should be able to fly above all this. You shouldn't be subject to a woman, man. Jake is subject to a fucking woman.
He's talking about ruling the universe and stuff, and that's why he said that's part of the signs that we got to see to know what time we in.
That's why the signs in the heavens. And,
that's why speaking of Category 6 hurricanes, they never spoke about stuff like that, and they doing it, because.
And like we said, Jake is chasing money, women. Those are beggarly elements, man. Like, we're gonna get plenty of women on this side too. Like, that's coming. It's almost like Jake waits for his income tax check every year. He waits for his his what else are you waiting for? You waiting for a good job to come through. One day I'm gonna own the house or get a record company. Start it or sign a record deal.
Jacob will wait for all his life. He'll wait on his pension, promotion,
pension. But when it comes to Most High, they don't want to wait.
I was shocked since you said that.
Well, I'm gonna finish this right there. It says, but as concerning things, concerning these things in 28, that's concerning the things whereof that asked me, I will tell thee, for the evil is sown, but the destruction thereof is not yet come. See? It's gonna come though. You plant something, you water, it's gonna, and this evil is being watered. They talk about wicked things every day, to where it's gonna reach a point, it's gonna explode, man. Or backfire is gonna come to naught. It says that therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down, and if the place where the evil is sown pass not away, then cannot it come that is sown with good. Yeah. So the evil gotta come. Like you, when you sick and you take medicine, you gotta throw that stuff up, and it's gonna seem like, damn, you know, you might break out or something because that sickness is coming out your body. But that's the process. It's gonna look bad. It's gonna get worse, just for the better to come in, just for the healing to come in. You know, it says, for the grain of evil seed that here we got that, and that had been sown in the heart of Adam from the beginning, and how much ungodliness had brought up into this time. See, it had to, so it can get out. So you know what I'm saying? Because like even in the industry, people gonna get tired of. They're gonna start brewing Suki honey in a minute. I mean, you know, soon, because they're getting tired of that ratchet shit. They getting tired of our women dressing like whores and shit. Because it's just been, it's gonna become outdated. It's gonna be like, we tired of this shit. The evil is grown, full grown.
That's what they just did with Hooters too.
Mm-hmm.
They make it into where because they $400 million in debt, they trying to sell it back to the rightful owners, and they like, man, we're gonna all these booty shorts and shit, man. We ain't gonna do that. We're gonna make it more family oriented. You know, because they know there's shame in this shit, man. Yeah, you ain't supposed to be wearing stuff like that, man. Not in public.
And these women, and these women is getting raped. They getting, you know, because men ain't respecting them because they be like, bitch, you ain't shit. Because you walk out here with no clothes on.
Yeah, and you know, that's like, it's different. Like if you in your quarters in your tent, yeah, your woman can dress up for you like that or whatever and do whatever. And now, but you know, the problem with Jake is he take that and he forget about the truth, man.
And he be fall subject to that.
He be fall subject unto him, and then all he think about all day is getting back to that box, man.
And you know what, like you just said, it's okay for your woman to dress like that, you know.
If you in the house and stuff, you know what I'm saying? She's supposed to please you.
That's
like
embarrassing. I never forget this, you know, this little testimony the chick I was dealing with, right? The so-called, chick. Anyway, long story short, we went out, you know, and this is when I first came into the truth, you know, so, you know, I knew I was fresh, you know, but I didn't really know too much, you know, but if I would, but anyway, we went out, she came out, I went to go pick her up, she came out, and she had, you know, a little outfit on, but it was her breast was, you know, was just out. It was like a little horse. But then I was like, I mean, you know, like if I would know what I knew now, but go take this, go change this shit.
It's the Babylonian way.
When we went out to the restaurant, right? We had some little Edomite chicks. I wonder what they were looking at. They looking at her, and they had that look like, how dare she come out here, you know, with that. And I was embarrassed, man. I was like, hell no, man. So you see,
that's what I said. Keep your garments. Let them see that shame.
Yeah,
and that's
and that brought shame onto me because I'm the head, you know. So you get that, hey, man. Look, I never again. I said, nah, I ain't going that shit no more.
And that's why the Most High is returning us back to the spirit, His spirit, because you know those temptations, those things in the flesh is always they're gonna always be there. Like I said, the flesh is gonna be fleshly, you know, and it wars against the spirit. So you got to get your spirit right and your mind right, and then everything could be in order after that. You know what I'm saying?
And that was like kind of the Lord, because you know how I said, you know, because it was just when you was coming in the truth, we was all kind of like that. Because when it says in Romans 3:20, the NLT, it says basically the you know, we never gonna get there by keeping all the commandments right, but it said the law is to show you how sinful you are. You know, that's what it says in NLT. It literally says it like that. So like you know, that's why we don't deal with a lot of women, because it said a wicked woman is given to a wicked man. So really, like when that kind of stuff happens, we got to check ourselves. Be like, damn.
And you know what?
And that's what you was doing. You was checking yourself, like, you know, it's really not her fault because she's supposed to be led. You know, it's really not her fault. It's our fault that our women are like that.
That's right.
You know, and that's why, as Quan was saying earlier, like, we got to eat that, man, and just, you know, we grounded right now, man. We can't be doing all and everything. You know what I'm saying?
Like
We
I
got to
said,
sit back, man.
We gotta have that evil plucked out of our hearts,
Yeah,
out of
man.
our
We
minds.
got to focus on getting this
Because
crud off.
all that,
Man.
you know, that subconscious thing they say is the dopamine effect. Brothers have gone into that. It's like, you know, a repeated thing in your mind to where it's now it's on auto.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even have to be thinking about a woman, and it just pop up in your head. Like,
Yo,
you know what I'm saying?
where she come from?
Yeah, in your mind.
In my mind.
And that's
You know,
one. And that's one thing about, you know, being in the truth. We ain't saying that it's wicked to
No.
look at a woman a certain type of way. You know what I'm saying? Because you get your manhood back coming in the truth. You know what I'm saying? You get your manhood back, but you still gotta have a godliness about it. You can't just, you know, we do have the ultimate knowledge of the earth, but we don't take it, use it to our advantage, and just be just, you know, getting with a whole bunch of people and stuff like that. We use it, you know, for the Most High's ministry, man. You know, we focus on making sure the elect sees that they have a father figure, that they have somebody that, you know, we could go out and do those things. But that's the point of denying yourself. Because every man wants a good looking woman, every man wants, you know, certain things or whatever. But this is more important.
And you see, we precious too. You know, being men of the Lord, we precious. You know, like what he said, I'll make a man more precious than fine gold. And, you know, like I always say, our Barak is we of the elect. If we are, look, we already precious in his sight. So when he said, I'm gonna make a man more precious than fine gold in the sight of these people and the people in the world, you see, so we precious. So, you know, you can't just go and can't anybody just obtain gold, a brick of gold, you know. So like you just said, we can't just be
Can't
with
just be dealing with
anybody and everybody.
Because we're the Lord's account.
That's what they're saying is she's for the streets. I mean, anybody can get it.
That's right.
Anybody can get the elect. She's a special woman, meaning the prophets, to where they ain't gonna be tricked by these philosophies and this entertainment bullshit. Most likely gonna have them call this shit up. Back in 30, and it says, been sown in the heart of evil seed, the grain of evil seed. You know, nobody sees it planted in the you don't know if somebody's planted seeds and a farmer's planted seeds in the ground until you see that it blossom out of the ground, but it's taking root in the ground. And that's what happens in your mind, you know, with demons and all that. Lustful thoughts. You just keep exercise watering it and it keeps growing. And you think it's not in there. You just be like, all right. But then you be like, it just comes out of nowhere. That's that seed that's showing up.
Been sown,
Yeah. It says, and in the heart of Adam from the beginning, and how much ungodliness had it brought up into this time, and how much shall it be yet? You ever try to take up a root of a tree? That shit is hard because the roots spread, you know?
Yeah, it's all throughout there.
Yeah, it's all throughout there. So you don't know how far it has, and then it'll take root again. It's like it's a headache, man. It says, and how much shall it bring yet forth on the threshing come? Ponder now by thyself how great fruit of wickedness the grain of evil seed hath brought forth. The great fruit of wickedness. Man, it's a whole vineyard of this shit. See people drinking wine off their wickedness and shit. You know what I'm saying? And then they got another vineyard. You know how you have a business? You start out with a little small business and shit. And then when you get enough money, you start it's bigger, and then it get bigger. Now you got different properties, and you got different people in your property. And then next thing you know, you get rich and shit. And next thing you know, you can buy more shit, and you have more women and more wine and more shit. And next thing you know, and then you get selfish and greedy and shit. You know what I'm saying? You want all the money to yourself. You don't pay your employees right. You don't build with the same. You don't build with the same material you started off as because you want to save money and shit. And your employees are complaining like, yeah, our shit is falling apart. What's up with this? And then it's like, damn, you just sell it all. Like, I'll just sell all my fucking property. I'm done with this shit. And you go off to be a millionaire over some Cancun place and shit. But you can't handle that shit, man. You need a whole orchestration of holy men to operate a system operate correctly. You know, they're not the souls that says. And he answered me. It says, and when the ears shall be cut down, which are without number, how great a floor shall they fill? Then I answered and said, how and when shall these things come to pass? Wherefore are our years few and evil? Question mark. And he answered me, saying, do not thou hasten the most highest, for thy haste is in vain to be above him. See, you can't, like, we hate, but we know the prophecy. We know that it's a process of time. If we was hasting evilly, we'd be like, well, let's just try to take over each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let's try to get some band together with some weapons and shit, because this shit ain't happening fast enough. No, we waiting patiently with the Most High. See what he's going to do. And we know what he's going to do. It's according to prophecy, but we're not hastening over ourselves against the fire above the Most High. We're waiting on him. You know? That's what Jake is trying to do. Let's just build a black community. Let's just all come together. Build a black community. Most High didn't say we'll come together like that. You know? We could buy some land, and then we could build from there. Y'all far behind, man. You so-called black people, y'all far behind Esau. You'll never catch up with Esau. And the land that Jake got, it ain't enough. You think Jake gonna be able to feed all the Jakes in the world? It says, and to these things, Uriel, archangel, gave me them answer and said, even when the number of the seas is filled in you, for he had weighed the world in the balance. By measure had he measured the times. And by number, see, it's an appointed time. So let's say we're ready. We're ready, Most High, and it's still going to be certain years that pass. Most High willingness will last Passover. But are we really filled in righteousness? You know what I'm saying? To the best of our ability. Are we really doing to our best of our ability? Are we really fighting these lustful demons? Are we really trying to complete the course? Fight the good fight of faith. And our heart is in the right place, but sometimes your actions are not matching up with your compassion of, want to defeat these things. I'm talking about me too. You know what I'm saying? We're not perfect, so you want to get perfect as possible. You do the will as best your ability, but what's your hang up? So it says, then answered I and said, O Lord, thou bearest rule even when we are full of impiety, I think that is. What is that word, impiety? That's the correct way. Impiety.
Lack of piety or reverence.
Lack of reverence?
Basically, yep.
What's another
lack
word?
of reverence, reverence, especially for God.
So
sinfulness.
Okay.
And
immorality.
Yeah, basically saying like careless, not really having a zeal for the Most High, not really having a passion.
So the Lord that bears rule even when we are full of impiety, what the brother just read. And for our sakes, peradventure, if it is that the floors of the righteous are not filled because of the sins of them that dwell upon the earth. So he answered me and said, go thy way to a woman with child and ask of her when she hath fulfilled her 9 months, if her womb may keep the birth any longer within. Yeah. Like we know that's the common thing of a woman to have, a baby of 9 months. I don't think
It's like
I I don't think it's ever recorded of a woman being on earth that had a baby at 12 months, you know, or maybe even 11, you know. Now the baby got to come, you know, 9 months, 10 months. So that's saying that it's an appointed time. Don't worry about that. When it's supposed to happen, it's going to happen. It says, then said I, no, Lord, that can she not. He said to me, in the grave, the chambers of souls are like the womb of a woman. For like as a woman that travaileth maketh haste to escape the necessity of the travail, even so these places haste to deliver those things that are committed into them. They're like we want to be delivered from these chains of darkness, you know, from this carnal state. But it's coming because they can't hold it. They can't bear it. They can't bear no more. Something got to happen. Something got to change. That's why these elites are talking like they are. That's why these countries are doing what they're doing. That's why these prophecies are speaking like they are. You know, that's why bags are getting passed out to certain camps.
Mm-hmm.
You know, things are happening, and it has to happen like that. It says from the beginning, look, what that thou desires to see, it shall be showed thee. Then answered I and said, if thou have found favor in thy sight, if it be possible, if it be meet, therefore, show me then whether there be more to come than is past, or more past than is to come. What is past, I know. You know, you should sit up. What is past, I know, but what is for to come, I know not. And he said unto me, stand up upon thy right side, and I shall expound a similitude unto thee. So I stood and saw, and behold, an hot burning oven passed before me. And it happened that when the flame was gone by, I looked, and behold, the smoke remained still. And this there passed by before a watery cloud, and sent down much rain with a storm. And when the stormy rain was past, the drops remained still. Then he said unto me, consider that with thyself, as the rain is more than the drops, and the fire is greater than the smoke. For the drops and the smoke remain behind, for the quantity which is past did more to exceed. So things that are written beforehand, you know what I'm saying, that was spoken of in prophecy is going to be the outcome. Prophets of doom, things that are written in the scriptures that in Revelation, you know, of these things in Daniel, the kingdoms being cast down, you know, from the Ancient of Days did sit one. Kingdom, you know, the power is going to be taken from these people, from these kings on earth. So it's going to be greater, you know, because the manifestation is going to be there. You know, even though it seemed like, you know, it's not going to happen, you know, just because, you know, things, you know how people talk to you, they be like, man, you know what I'm saying? We've been through this, or why wouldn't we deliver, why ain't we living eternally after the days of Moses or after the flood? Why didn't the Most High just, you know, set up eternity right there? Mm-hmm. Why did he bring us back to where now we got to wait for a fiery judgment? Well, that's the balance of the Most High. You got water, you got fire, you got coming in, going out. You got the beginning, you got the end. It said better is the end of a thing than the beginning of it. And people love the beginning of a story, but they don't really like the ending, because it could be ending in bad for some people. You know? So then they want to shorten it. I mean, they want to prolong the time. They don't want to see the end. And then some of those suffering want to shorten the time, because the end, you know, they already see ending things. They already see, like, we don't got no money, we're broke. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got no, you know, women are not in order, so to speak. You know, got a few sisters out there. What I'm saying, it ain't like it should be. But we ready for the kingdom. We ready for the next kingdom, man. But the Most High said, but hold on, though. You know, that process. Yep. Hold on. You know, these things got to become grown and full. What do they say? Fullness of the Gentiles. You know what I mean? Things got to be grown. You got. They said even with Esau, let the boys grow. So the outcome, so people could see the outcome of this. The boys are still growing. We getting into our grownness now, because we're finding out like Esau really ain't our brother and shit. He really ain't our friend. Well, Most High giving us, now we separating and shit. We understand that he's the wicked, and we're the righteous. It says after this were passed by me before, and it says verse 50. Then said he to be considered with thyself. Yeah, I read that. Then I prayed and said, may I live, thinkest thou, until that time, or what shall happen in those days? He answered me and said, as for the token thereof thou asked me, I may tell thee them in part, but as touching thy life, I'm not sent to show thee, or I do not know it. So it's something just like Yahawashi don't know the time. I mean, he's the main angel, he's the main guy, and he don't know the time. So it's certain things are kept in store, like into a chamber that we don't know on this side, that we hope for and hope to see, that will come to pass, but we don't know exactly when. But we know it's going to come to pass, just like that baby that has to be born out of that woman's womb after 9 months. Things got to be fulfilled. Things have to run its course. That's why the Most High said that, in the scriptures say, let the wicked be the wicked, let them do what they do, let not, don't be concerned about how the wicked is going to be punished, but how the righteous should be saved. Because Most High got all that taken care of, man. It's our own soul salvation. But we're going to prophesy, of course. We're going to rebuke, of course. We're going to condemn Esau and condemn America, of course. That's a part of the prophetic battle and prophetic duty. But in our spirit, we know that everything is taken care of with the Most High, So however it's going to run, it's going to run. However it's going to end, it's going to end. But we know, that, what is read in the scriptures, that wicked, what did it say? The light of wicked shall be put out. None remain in the house of Esau. It says, wicked shall not go unpunished. So we good, man. Most High, we always say Most High will, but we're following to the best of our ability, and doing as much as we can. If you don't feel like that way, then you got to get on that level, because you'll start to lose yourself and say, "Damn, I'm not good enough," or I'm just step away. Now you gotta stay in the fight. Like, man, I gotta do better. I gotta, go ahead.
You gotta be assertive, just like Swan saying. That's all I was gonna say. Yeah, be assertive. Like, ain't nobody getting in the, you got these basketball players in the NBA. If they don't put their foot out there, they just sit around and just be quiet and stuff. They ain't gonna get in. Mm-hmm. You gotta show some authority also in your own self, saying like, nah, I'm gonna make it count, man. We gotta be men in this thing,
Yeah. And it's okay.
That's it.
I just wanted to say something about like somebody like Michael Jordan or Kobe. See, that's Illuminati shit. Now, the main, the savior is Yahawashi. He's the main, angel and the main guy. And it's gonna be like, but you can't down the rest of the team. They work hard too.
Yep.
But they just focus on Michael Jordan and Kobe when he was alive, because it's Illuminati shit. But all the elect is going to be important. With Yahawashi said, you're going to do greater things than me. So, we're on the team, and if you're on the team, you can't sit on the bench. You're not going to be a bench woman. You're going to be out there, and you're going to show as much as effort, and you're going to be important as the main guy too, because you're a part of that body. It ain't no Illuminati type of shit. Yeah. Everybody's important. It's what they say, the smallest member.
Yeah, the smallest members are the ones the Lord puts in good positions, and that doesn't mean that you're gonna get noticed. It's saying that you're getting put above everybody in the earth, man. to have this truth. That doesn't mean that people are supposed to notice you. You don't want everybody to notice you right now, man. It's not going to be fun being an Israelite real soon.
And
It's not going to be fun being an Israelite.
it's funny you say that because y'all talking about y'all want women, and then when the 7 women come to 1 man, that's just a number. That's a completion of women.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't, Jay gonna be like, oh, hold on, wait, it's too many of y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Like, it ain't going to be them coming because they think you look good or something. It's going to be because it's dead bodies everywhere. It's going to be everything screwed up.
Yep. So, hey, I don't even worry about how they coming because they gonna come.
This is not going to be like a Hollywood thing, man. It's going to be serious, man. It's going to be like, and you're going to have to make sure that your mind is intact because that means that those people you're responsible for.
Because they're gonna be asking regular Jake, you wanted the righteous? You wanted the Most High? I don't know what you're talking about. You know, like, oh shit. I gotta find them, man.
And at that point, you're gonna know because the Lord is gonna, that Jacob's trouble, everybody's spirit, it's gonna be heightened. And even the heathens is gonna be heightened. They're gonna know it's the day of evil because he reserved them for that time. He said that he made the wicked for the day of evil. So they gonna know what time it is. Yeah. They gonna be, they're gonna be some demons.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of our people gonna have weak hearts.
It's gonna be Jake out here, like, what's going on? Because he ain't putting no damn oil in this land.
Because just like Yahawashi, when he said, you a little faith, you know what I'm saying? This generation is full of vipers and all that. Like, it's gonna happen. But this is gonna be the end of all that. So after this, after the storm, where they say comes the sun. Comes the rainbow. After the Noah's Ark, it was a rainbow. That's a beautiful thing. Everybody like to capture the rainbow, man. I don't know these sodomite bullshit. They gonna get there, man. They gonna burn up like it says in the scriptures. We the prophets of doom. So what? We say what the scriptures say.
And they try to make it seem like you was going in Wisdom of Solomon. The first chapter you was talking about how righteousness is immortal. Well, in verse 13 it talk about like the Lord don't have pleasure in the destruction of the living, but not everybody's alive, man. Not everybody's alive, so they think that the Lord just won't kill nobody. That's not how. Nah.
Yeah, because Yahawashi stated himself. He said, "Let the dead bury the dead."
Dead, man.
They really dead people.
They in the congregation of the dead, man. The Lord's not worried about these people, man. So you got the spirit, man, and he don't give a fuck if you die, man.
Yeah, because what did the Most High say? He said he don't see men like we do. I mean, like, he don't see us like a man does. So he's saying you might be walking around, but you dead to him. It says that he that wanted out of the way of congregation, he wanted out of the way of understanding, remain in congregation.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I know you're making analogies like if a son was just a super wicked son, the father would say, "You dead to me," even though he's still walking around and shit, man. That's how the Lord look at these people, man.
What the Apostle said, that's an Italian saying.
Italian
saying, something like that. You're dead to me. That means don't talk to me, even though you're still alive or something.
Yeah, you're dead to me. Like you're not part of my inheritance. You're not part of my commonwealth. You're not part of my economy, man.
And that means too that he can fade away and he not even care about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what you're doing on the other side, so don't call me. So yeah, this is gonna be a lot of judgment against people that are smiling and living their lives and having fun and calling out Jesus and all that, and going to parties and birthdays. And Lord, I'm glad you blessed me with another birthday party. Lord ain't wasn't in there.
And you even got some of them that are damn super duper Jesus Christ Christians, and they really actually trying to be right, and they still gonna die because their ass ain't calling on the name of Bahasham. That's how serious it is. You can be somebody that's actually not doing no wickedness in the earth, and you just go home, watch TV, and you help out the poor, and you go to work, and you don't do nothing wicked like that. Your ass still gonna die.
That Most High said, "Ask by the sincerity of your heart, and I will answer thee." Just like Just like Ezra was asking all the questions, the angel was answering him.
Mm-hmm.
And then some things that he was too much that you don't need to even know that. That's too high for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So if you want to know, you Most High let you know.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, these people, they want to live in America. They don't want to. They want to see what Esau is going to do with this. You know,
Mm-hmm.
this stuff, and they ain't even waiting for righteousness. They rather just vote for Trump and vote for see if we can make America great again. But nah, that's not going to be. It's an appointed time. You guys,
I got one more going into how we're going to have the possession of the heathen, our inheritance. Because when you go into Leviticus, it mentions you some things that's going to happen in the kingdom. You know, and we're gonna know because we don't own shit right now, right? Well, this is a promise from the Lord. This is Leviticus chapter 25, verse 44. Both thy bondmen and thy bondsmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you, because they were scattered.
Yeah, because Solomon, he even said that. Is that the where Solomon? No, and Solomon said that he would have his people as servants, but not as bondmen.
Yeah. It's a little bit before that.
Okay,
but
yeah.
I just wanted to get to the point. But
So
you don't treat them like
no,
that.
there's nothing wrong with servitude. There's nothing wrong with you women being of service to us. There's nothing wrong with us serving each other as brethren. Serving the Lord. But we gonna have y'all as bondmen and bondwomen. That means to captivate you, use the word against you to, you know what I'm saying, to put strain on you. If you're a righteous woman, it says a virtuous woman, it says honor her as a weaker vessel.
Yeah, we ain't gonna treat you like a heathen. Like you're gonna be looked at as you know somebody who's a joint heir.
Oh, for like lady or princess or whatever.
Yeah,
you know, don't be no, you know. We don't get down like that.
Yeah, but you know, you gotta actually be that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta actually be someone who's invested in your man like that. You know what I'm saying? And they are out there. You know what I'm saying? And you know, that's where, you know, when you do that, let's say you do that and you do give your all to a man of the Lord, or, you know, maybe you give somebody who you thought was a man of the Lord and he end up start doing that, that's going to be on him, you know? So that's why, you know, you got these hopeful late women that be on the com board for 100 damn years talking about some shalom, you ain't looked out for no man of the Lord. What are you doing here? Because that's what we're supposed to be doing, serving each other. It's service, you know. So you gotta, you're not saying that you just hurry up and just pick somebody, but make sure that your heart is sincere on that. If you claiming to be somebody in this truth, you better be ready to serve somebody in this thing.
Yeah, because
that's our job.
And this will be a princess out of nowhere, but it says if you do as Sarah did in the bay, because Sarah means Shara, is princess. Right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which means princess, and you gotta do as Sarah did, calling her man Lord, and you know doing the duty.
Mm-hmm.
So that princess title is in vain. That's American way.
And if you got a man of the Lord, he gonna look out for you too. He ain't gonna just, you know what I'm saying? Because how you are is what our house looks like. You're supposed to be the glory of us. So if you got a real man of the Lord, he gonna look out, man. You're gonna look out, period.
And if you're a virtuous woman, you're gonna be thankful that your man, you know, told you to cover up and, you know, take off the makeup, whatever, you know what I'm saying, according to righteous, you're gonna be thankful.
Yeah, because then you're gonna know that he's trying to make sure your ass don't get blown up at him. So so be the heathen that are around about you, of them shall ye buy bondsmen and bondsmaids.
We're gonna possess the
Yep.
heathen.
Yep.
Or an inheritance.
Yep.
Bondwomen, bondmen, bondwomen.
Verse 45, moreover, the children of the strangers, see, this is what we're talking about, the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them, that's not talking about that, that's talking about the heathen. So that do sojourn among you, of them you shall buy, and of their families that are with you, which they begat in your land, and they shall be your possession, because they came and took us over here and raped and pillaged the lands and did all this. So this is what's going to happen to them. They're going into slavery. And it's going to be forever. That's what the next scripture is going into. It's saying forever. But it's going to go into the ones of Israel. You ain't supposed to treat them like that. Verse 46, and ye shall take them as an inheritance right? Going into that inheritance, right, where ruling righteously for your children after you to inherit them for a possession.
So our children gonna be over them.
Yep.
You know, it's, our sons gonna have staffs in their hand,
Mm-hmm.
like young princes.
Running shit. Yep. That's the 2/3 coming back into the kingdom. They gonna run shit too. They shall be your bondmen forever.
Yep.
Forever.
You know, getting out of it.
Ain't no fucking
And you gotta be subject. They already subject to Esau. I mean, there's gonna be a transfer of ownership, like it says, and like it was in slavery. But we're gonna be a new owner
forever. You know, and this is how it was in that day. You know, but he was saying it's gonna be like this forever. But there was time we weren't ruling the heathen. But this was a promise from the Most High. But we wasn't gonna get it right then. But he said for right now.
And that happened because of prophecy.
Yep.
It tells you that the Greek's head was wounded.
Yep.
Byzantine Empire.
Mm-hmm. But over your brethren, the children of Israel, shall ye not rule over another with rigor?
Yeah.
Rule one over another with rigor.
Yeah. So no, and so that means, you know, just because there's nothing wrong with servitude.
Yeah, you don't treat them.
What fashion it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You don't, like it says, you don't have your own people as bondmen and bondwomen.
Yeah, you don't treat them with usury. You don't like give them some money and be like, all right, well, pay me interest and shit.
Mm-hmm.
You treat him like, you like he's not a stranger.
You pay him rightfully. You pay him a portion of land. You don't keep land from him, or you pay it from him. Yeah. You know, you expand his borders if you get to a point where y'all all become wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
And you the wealth keeper, you expand his borders.
Yep, you increase, they increase. That's part of it. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of building the tabernacle. Mm-hmm. So like, and when you do increase, and what's he gonna do? He's gonna get women. Yeah. And those women is gonna help him increase.
That's what Yahawashi did for us. He said, I've conquered that. Now we through him get life.
Yeah.
And eternal life. And he said, like going back to my house, Father's house of many mansions.
Mm-hmm.
He gave us access to that on some spiritual elect code stuff. And we always say most High willing. Is there anything else closing out with? That's it.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all I had.
Yeah. So hopefully it was edifying, man. We'll most likely, do a sit down so we get into some what do you call it, some hot topics of articles and different things that's going on in the world with these politicians, these countries, but we wanted to, like the love brother Michael Ali in LA, righteousness is in. It's time for righteousness to be more beautified and glorified through Yahawah Yahawashi, because that's what it is. That's where it comes from. Not no down spirit like, oh man, this is getting worse. They're taking over. Nah, let's fight back in the spirit with our spiritual staff and our spiritual minds, to where this is gonna work. This is gonna come to pass. Yeah,
you gotta look at this like it's gonna be successful, because this is the foundation of success. Mm-hmm. You got these damn Jakes going into the music industry. You see how hyped up they be. We gotta turn up twice as much as them, because everything they doing don't even fucking matter. Yeah. It's all in vain.
Yep. Yep. I think it's some movies that'll be like, I know this is gonna work. This, you know what I'm saying? But it fell all through the times. How do you know? Believe me, trust me, this is gonna work. That's where our mind state is. Yeah. That matrix, he's starting to believe.
And that's always been Jake, you know what I'm saying? Even like movies, like even the children's movies, like Shark Tale, you know how he was always trying to come up with them get rich quick schemes. He was always like, I got this next one, bottled water, motherfucker. He was doing all that shit. That's how we was until we got to the truth.
He never quit.
He never quit though. You can't never quit.
That other one, Pinky in the Brain?
Yeah.
And every morning and shit, I have to take over the world.
Yeah, they was on some shit. They was failing all the damn time because they didn't have the right foundation. But this time we got the right foundation.
So, hey, hopefully we continue to live in righteousness to the best of our ability, do the work to the best of our ability, and strive on and fight the good fight until, and Most High, take take these things down, man. Take the heathen down, these powers down. You know? And we don't have to worry about nothing no more. Safe in the arms of the Lord, you know what I'm saying? You know, when your woman gets back with the man, she feels safe in his arms, you know what I'm saying? But hopefully it was edifying, you know. Giving all praises to
Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash.
Barak, Yahawashi, double honors to the apostles, the elders, bishops, the great millstone, much salutation to the blessed word for the hopeful elect, soon to be elect. Most High will to extend the hopeful elect shalom and blessings to the brothers and sisters on the coming board, you know, to the next time. Shalom.
Shalom.
Oh man, I feel like I didn't work a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, we in the energy. You know, we ready.
Crack a few bones or something.
Yeah.
You gotta leave in like